Welcome to this drum talk about playing at church. I've had a lot of my subscribers ask me, can you put up some video of you playing in a live situation? So I was blessed on Easter Sunday, after Easter Sunday lunch. My granddaughter said, hey, can I come to church with you? Because I was playing drums at church at the 5 o'clock service last Sunday. And she said, can I come with you? And I said, sure, come along. So she came with us for the whole service, but she also came for rehearsal, acted as a roadie. So I want to thank my granddaughter, Maddie, for doing that. Maddie sometimes takes camera shots in the studio with me, so you've heard her name before. But when she was there, I thought to myself, this is a great opportunity to actually get a little bit of footage of rehearsal of what we do playing at church. Now, this particular Sunday was not really different than any other particular Sunday because we play in a different way than a lot of the churches in the area. A lot of the churches have extremely big rock band setups, meaning Avion systems with in-ear monitors and the drum, I like to call it the penalty box setup. And I played at a lot of these different churches, and it's a lot of fun. You're playing with a click, playing with tracks sometimes. They're all very interesting environments to play in. The environment I get to play in is a very small little Presbyterian church. The interesting thing about our church is it's a very creative community, meaning we have a lot of creatives that are part of the community and play and make music. And we have an album out. It's called Paradise Hymns. It's available on Spotify. And there's different versions of it. The first album was played before I was part of the worship team. So I didn't play on the first album. And one of the songs we're playing tonight, a song called Reaching for the Weak, was one of the songs I didn't play on. But there's other songs that have come out in the last couple years that I did play on. So I'm on some of the new material. Also, some of the people in the video, the worship leader, the girl worship leader, Sarah Claire, the violinist, David Urbanati. These are friends that I work on projects with at different times. And anyhow, the long and the short of it is, being part of a creative community where we all play on each other's projects and albums and things is kind of an interesting aspect of being a drummer at this church. Now, I want to say something about playing drums at church, especially a church without mics, without a penalty box, without plexiglass around me. I have to play differently than I play even in the studio. I can't play full throttle, but I do still play like I play. So I have some intensity, and you'll see this in rehearsal. Plus rehearsals, I get away with a few more things than I would try necessarily in a service, but sometimes in the service, the spirit of the moment comes in, and that changes things too. So I wanted to go over a little bit about what my setup was for church and what I was doing on that particular Sunday. Now, first off, this is not my setup for church. My church setup is my little maple Gretsch kit with an 18-inch bass drum. On this particular Sunday, I had a 6.5 by 10-inch Gretsch concert tom converted into a double-headed tom. And then I had a 14 by 14 floor tom, which is a Catalina maple, converted into more of a traditional Gretsch sound with the die-cast tubes. I put die-cast tubes on it. So it's kind of a makeshift kit that I pulled together from lots of different places. I also have a 12-inch tom that's a round badge Gretsch tom that kind of rounds up the kit. I actually have 3 toms for the kit. The snare drum was a DMR Solid Walnut 7x14 on this particular Sunday. I was using my Tama classic hardware, as you'll see in the video. I was using Zildjian cymbals that day. I was using my 14-inch Kerope hi-hats, 19-inch Kerope crash ride, and I was using my 22-inch Kerope crash ride, and I was also using a Sabian HH 18-inch sound control crash ride. They're all crash rides. You can play crashes on them or you can ride on them. So those were the cymbals I had for there. And I also had a little those pea pod things, that those African pod things that you put on. I was on the hi-hat. I didn't make the service, but sometimes I try different sounds to get a different kind of chick effect on the hi-hat. The first song was Reaching for the Weak, and that's one of the originals that we play. So I have to play it pretty close to the original. It's very important that I get the vibe of the song, otherwise I kind of hear it on those songs. Other songs I have more liberty to play who I am. And the second song, the Song of Ascent, we call the Highland Song, it's called Highlands, is a Hillsong song that's got all this majestic pipe band, like Scottish pipe band drumming on it, snare drumming stuff going on. And then there's these big toms that come in, and it's thunderous, and it's a thunderous production. Well, we don't have a thunderous production. We have acoustic guitar, a violin, a vocal, a keyboardist, and a guitarist, and a bass player, and me. So how can I play this song that's got so much going on and bring it in, turn it into something? So that's the key. So what you're going to see, and this is just the setup for watching me play a couple minutes of songs, not very much. I'm not playing the whole song because my granddaughter did not record the whole rehearsal. I don't have that to cut from. I've got actually 3 pieces of music, and I'm only going to play 2 of them because 2 of them are kind of long enough to be apart. The first one is Reaching for the Weak, and this was rehearsal, take 1 rehearsal. I was playing it a little bit faster. I had to count this song off, but you get the kind of the energy of the song. And we're in the section of the song where I have some pushes and kicks I had to catch. So that's what you get on that one. And the second one, the Song of Ascent, I do some interesting muting to the drum kit to make it work. One of the things I do is I do this pattern where on the floor tom and the snare drum, where I'm trying to get both the Scottish pipe band snare drum stuff going with my left hand while playing this kind of thunderous tom thing, but not too thunderous. And I took a big fat snare drum, which is one of those things you drop on your snare drum, and it's the one that doesn't have the hole in the middle, and I drop it on the floor tom, and I'm using that as kind of a muted floor tom, and I'm doing this groove, this 2-handed groove with the kick drum on the quarter notes driving it. So some interesting approaches. Not necessarily the way somebody that played at a big church with the tracks would approach the song, but think of it this way. I'm approaching the song the way it needs to be approached to work in the environment I'm working in. And that's the key here, is when you're working in different environments, is to come up with how you have to play to make it work. So that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to do a little setup to the couple clips. It's about maybe 4 minutes of drumming. But you can see me in my other element, playing in church. Now, one other thing I want to say about playing in church, and probably it's the most important aspect of it, and it's something I try to say on my 5 basic drum beats for playing in church, is that it's about playing in the Spirit. And there's a spiritual component to music. Music is not just something that soothes our soul, and it's not just something that's done in the flesh. There's a connection to other realms in music. Most jazz musicians would try to tell you that what they're trying to do is they're trying to reach up and touch God in what they're saying and speaking out their voice of their music. I would say that's the same thing in a worship scenario. When I'm playing, I'm trying to give my all to Jesus. It's almost like the little drummer boy. When you see that, I play my drum for you, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. It literally is my gift, my little gift I give back to the Lord, and hopefully He plays through me, and I communicate something that causes the congregation to want to raise their hands and worship God. And if I don't do that, then I'm really not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So it's not about me playing great parts or looking like I'm doing for a lot of times for drum covers where I have to have a certain thing to keep your eye on the thing. I'm actually trying to play so that people are inspired to sing and to go further in their worship of the Lord in a service. So that's my heart. When I'm practicing at rehearsals, I'm going for it. And I think you see a little bit of that when I'm doing Song of Ascent and doing Reaching for the Weak. So I hope you enjoy these 2 songs. Reaching for the Weak was written by Danny Brunges and the, Providencia worship team at the time. Highlands is a song from Hillsong, but somebody from Hillsong would probably look at it and go, it's not our version. It's a little different. Anyhow, God bless you all. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy this little look into how I play at a church service. God bless. Bye.